I'm going to see if I can record a really quick show because news broke earlier today that Mitch McConnell is going to be stepping down as Senate Republican leader. That's the minority in the Senate. He's going to be stepping down from his position at the end of this year. Here are some headlines from CNN. Mitch McConnell to step down from GOP leadership position in the Senate. From AP News, Mitch McConnell to step down from Republican Senate leadership. From Vox, Mitch McConnell steps down. Well, not yet, technically. So, fake news. But House Senate GOP leader lost by winning. Looks like an interesting article. But ain't nobody got time for that. From Yahoo News, who will replace Mitch McConnell? The 3 Republicans who are likeliest to succeed him. You know what? I'll pull that up in a separate tab. I'll click around and find out if I have time. If my mouse will allow me to click on it. There we go. So, before I get into that, let me pull up this post from him on X. Leader McConnell says, as I said on the Senate floor, one of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on. It's been the honor of my life to serve as Republican leader. I imagine many would argue that you waited way too long, like past your due date on this. And I myself was saying months ago after he had his episodes, his mental/physical episodes, that he should have stepped down then. I mean, he just turned 82 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he is well done. And now he is, well, almost done. Although he will be sticking around in the Senate for a while because his actual term won't be up. It's just that he will be stepping down as the minority leader, like I said. So if you want to click on this, which I already did, you will find this on his Mitch McConnell Republican leader page. McConnell remarks on last term as Republican leader. It has the speech he gave on the Senate floor earlier. I'm not going to play any of that. It's 9 minutes or so long, if I'm not mistaken. I did listen to all of it earlier, and for what it is, it's a good speech. I mean, to each their own, but I have no problem with it. I don't even have no problem with him at this point. I don't even have any problem with him at this point. But that's partly because he is stepping down, as I previously suggested he should. Not that my word matters. But as for his words, here is another page where you can find the speech, the aforementioned speech. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, U.S. Senator for Kentucky. This is a different page, but it has the same speech on it. If you want to read through it for yourself, I'll link it to you if you'd like, but you probably don't really care. Oh well, let me know in the comments below what you think, what you know. I gotta go here in a minute, but in the meantime, feel free to disagree with me on anything I say. That's what I have to say. And in his speech, he said, Father Time remains undefeated. He said, I am no longer the young man sitting in the back, hoping colleagues would remember my name. It is time for the next generation of leadership. So that key word or words there, those key words there, next generation, almost seem to suggest that he thinks someone younger, as though you can get any older, should be taken over for him. They will have their say in that. There will be a process which will play out, and we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, I do think that is interesting that he says that it is time for the next generation of leadership. Don't want to read too much into that. May just be a figure of speech. I do have this article pulled up from the Associated Press. Might speed read it. Here's a screenshot, basically, from his speech, which once again I will not be playing. McConnell will step down as the Senate Republican leader in November after a record run in the job. Yeah. Lengthiest lingering leader in the Senate in history. Good for him, I guess. Yeah, I'm not going to take this opportunity to hate on him too much. It is what it is. I'm neither for him nor totally against him. I'm just kind of indifferent at this point to most of these politicians. Don't really trust any of them. But I'm not looking for someone to serve as my Lord and Savior or anything like that. Here we go, by Michael Tackett. Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate leader in history who maintained his power in the face of dramatic convulsions in the Republican Party for almost 2 decades, will step down from that position in November, around the time of the election. Who'd have thunk it? I'm not sure how this comes into play strategically. Okay, so McConnell, who turned 82 last week, I was right, announced his decision Wednesday in the well of the Senate, the chamber where he looked in awe from its back benches in 1985 when he arrived, and where he grew increasingly comfortable in the front row seat afforded the party leaders. While I'm at it, let me ask you what you think. Term limits or no term limits for members of Senate, Congress, so on and so forth. Do you think they should be limited to 8 years so that they cannot reach the point where they are indeed well done, whether or not they've done well? He has been cooked extra crispy, considering how long he has been in his position, various positions within the Senate, I might add. And he will continue on as a senator. Don't get it twisted. Just not as a leader. But yes, one of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter, he said. So I stand before you today to say that this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. His decision punctuates a powerful ideological transition underway in the Republican Party from Ronald Reagan's brand of traditional conservatism and strong international alliances to the fiery, often isolationist populism of former President Donald Trump, whom Mitch McConnell had been sort of on the edge of endorsing. He hadn't really been all that decisive in his endorsement, or lack thereof. And maybe that's because he knew he was about to be stepping down, and he didn't want to make a scene, just to leave. Although he, once again, has not technically left yet. So, forget what I just said, I suppose. McConnell said he plans to serve out his Senate term, which ends in January 2027. 2027. Okay. I'm not sure exactly when that term expires, or when, that term runs out. So, how old will he be then? Oh, well, if he just turned 82, 3 years from now, and 2027, he'll be 85. And according to him, he will still be around, politicking it up. Politicking it up. And down, and all around. As politicians do. Though not physically, since he is, once again, a little bit cooked. Albeit from a different seat in the chamber, he said. Yeah. He spoke at times haltingly, his emotions evident, as he looked back on his career. Dozens of members of the staff lined up behind him on the back wall of the chamber, some wiping away tears as family and friends looked down from the gallery above. Senators from both parties, most of them taken by surprise by the announcement, trickled into the chamber and exchanged hugs and handshakes. Surprising, considering any member of Congress in their position of power had stepped down from any of that, even if not completely. Yeah, it is a bit of a surprise, especially to the rest of them who are like, why would you step down? Would you just be here until you die? As if that's a life anyone wants to live besides them. President Joe Biden, who has had a productive working relationship with McConnell, said he was sorry to hear the news. How productive, you might wonder? Well, I wonder the same thing. I've trusted him, and we have a great relationship, the Democratic president said. We fight like heck. But he has never misrepresented anything. Anything? So I guess we should trust politicians after all, if there are some who never misrepresent anything, according to Joe Biden, who has never misrepresented anything. No, what I just did was misrepresent to make my point. Aides said McConnell's announcement was unrelated to his health. Unlikely. The Kentucky senator had a concussion from a fall last year and 2 public episodes where his face briefly froze while he was speaking. That's putting it lightly. As I have been thinking about when I would deliver some news to the Senate, I always imagined a moment when I had total clarity and peace about the sunset of my work, McConnell said. A moment when I am certain I have helped preserve the ideals I so strongly believe. It arrived today. The senator had been under increasing pressure from the restive and at times hostile wing of his party that has aligned firmly with Trump. Again, they are not big fans of each other, though they once upon a time were. Just like with Ronna McDaniel, who has also made some news and will also be stepping down in the near future, Trump was very supportive of both of them in the past, and that has run its course. And though Donald Trump himself is quite old, the party has aligned themselves directly behind him for the most part, ready and willing to serve him as their Lord and Savior. But that's neither here nor there. The two have been estranged since December of 2020 when McConnell refused to abide Trump's lie, that's according to the article, that the election of Democrat Biden as president was the product of fraud. So I say that's according to the article because I don't want to get into that. But stick around long enough and you'll find out what I have to say about that. But while McConnell's critics within the GOP conference had grown louder, their numbers had not grown appreciably larger. A marker of McConnell's strategic and tactical skill and his ability to understand the needs of his fellow Republican senators. McConnell gave no specific reason for the timing of his decision, which he has been contemplating for months, but he cited the recent death of his wife's youngest sister as a moment that prompted introspection. My condolences. He said, "The end of my contributions are closer than I'd prefer," McConnell said. So it's possible that he just had a bit of an epiphany and wants to more thoroughly enjoy the remaining days within his life before he is without his life. But his remarks were also light at times as he talked about the arc of the Senate career, his Senate career, to be exact. He noted that when he arrived in the Senate, I was just happy if anybody remembered my name. During his campaign in 1984, when Reagan was visiting Kentucky, the president called him Mitch O'Donnell. McConnell endorsed Reagan's view of America's role in the world, and the senator has persisted in the face of opposition, including from Trump, that Congress should include a foreign assistance package that includes $60 billion for Ukraine. He is one who has become unpopular with the Republicans and conservatives, so on and so forth, who are very much opposed to continuing to fund Ukraine. I am unconflicted about the good within our country and the irreplaceable role we play as the leader of the free world, McConnell said. Against long odds, he managed to secure 22 Republican votes for the package now being considered by the House. Is it really being considered, though? Dead on arrival. DOA, as far as I can tell. Believe me, I know the politics within my party at this particular moment in time. I have many faults. Misunderstanding politics is not one of them, McConnell said. That said, I believe more strongly than ever that America's global leadership is essential to preserving the shining city on the hill where Ronald Reagan discussed. For as long as I am drawing breath on this earth, I will defend American exceptionalism. Whether or not he does that until his dying day as a senator, again, time will tell. Although sometimes time appears to lie. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Just the people do. After his speech, Senator Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, congratulated him in brief remarks, saying that she admired him for stepping forward when it wasn't popular to do the right thing for our country and our world. Oh, does that mean she'll be following suit? Trump has pulled the party hard to the ideological right, questioning longtime military alliances such as NATO, international trade agreements, and pushing for a severe crackdown on immigration, all the while clinging to the falsehood that the election was stolen from him in 2020. McConnell and Trump had worked together during Trump's time in the White House, remaking the Supreme Court, one of their greatest accomplishments, and the federal judiciary in a far more conservative image and on tax legislation. But there was also friction from the start, with Trump frequently sniping at the senator. How much longer is this going to go? I have to go. Oh my word. Okay. No more thoughts and feelings on my part. I'm going to read through this so fast that you'll think that it was a work of art. Just had to throw that rhyme in there. All right, so double time. The relationship has essentially been over since Trump refused to accept the results of the Electoral College, but the rupture deepened dramatically after the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. McConnell assigned blame and responsibility to Trump and said that he should be held to account through the criminal justice system for his actions. McConnell's critics insist he could have done more, including voting to convict Trump during his second impeachment trial. McConnell did not, arguing that since Trump was no longer in office, he cannot be subject to impeachment. You know what? I'm tempted to skip the rest of this. I don't know if it actually speaks to the process which will follow. So I'm going to skip the rest of this article. Yeah. But he did say, here's one more quote from the senator. I still have enough gas in the tank. Wow, this is not ending on a good note for me, personally. I still have enough gas in the tank to thoroughly disappoint my critics, and I intend to do so with all the enthusiasm which they have become accustomed. So I know I pulled up this other article from Yahoo News referencing 3 Republicans who are likeliest to succeed him. Senator John Thune, Senator John Cornyn, Senator John Barrasso. Yes, they are slightly younger, but they are no spring chickens. So I guess let me know in the comments below whether or not you think any of them will be the next speaker. Speaker, not speaker. How many times have I said that? Oh, man. Senate leader. In this case, minority leader. So, who will it be? Let me pause this. And use this as my thumbnail. And I really hope that I have not said speaker too many times. I hope that I have not referred to the leader as the speaker too many times, because, well, that would be fake news. My apologies. Okay, a couple of random perspectives from X. This one from Colin Rugg. He said, just in, Republican Senator Mitch McConnell to step down as Senate Republican leader. McConnell became a senator in 1985, almost 40 years ago. He was born in 1942 and is currently 82 years old. He has a reported net worth of over $35 million, because that makes perfect sense. McConnell is the epitome of the swamp. I despise any and every American leader who holds on to power for that long. Shameful. Okay, well, it is clear that Donald Trump would hold on to power for that long if he could. Of course, term limits for the president do not allow for that, but, you know, I'm just saying. When people, politicians or not, say things like, I despise any and every American leader who holds on to power that long, what they really mean is ones who do not further my preferred agenda. And I know that Mitch McConnell is Republican, but, you know, obviously there are various Republicans who are not on board with his agenda, or at least many portions of his agenda. So, for whatever it's worth, I just thought I would throw that in there about Donald Trump. I don't think anyone could make the argument that he is not a fan of power. Of course, if you want him in power, as most Republicans do, then you're okay with that. And if Mitch McConnell did everything that Donald Trump wanted him to, I doubt Trump supporters would be enthusiastic about him stepping down. And speaking of Trump supporters, we have Laura Loomer here saying, why are Republicans so stupid? Ronna Romney, as in Ronna McDaniel, should be forced to step down before Super Tuesday because she has a different strategy. Mitch McConnell should be forced to step down before November because he has a different strategy. I don't know that you can really force them to step down. So what do you mean? Hold their feet to the fire in one way or another? I am forcing you to step down right here, right now. She continues, you don't let the fox stay inside the barn. You drive them out. What the heck is wrong with these people? No more than what's wrong with you. But, that being said, I dread going back to work. Mostly because it rhymes. But, because I am well past my time, I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep in touch. Keep in tune. New content is coming soon. Peace.